Hello and back, or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor, and today we're doing a book haul. And yes, did I say that I was going to be on like a no-buy this summer? That was a lie. We all knew I was lying when I said it. I am still trying to do a TBR takedown, and I did get rid of a lot of books, so in my mind, I brought less books in than I put out. But before I hop in the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things books. Now, I was realizing as I was going through my TBR that I had left physically, which I thought I had broken down to one shelf. It doesn't all fit on one shelf. Now, that I was really lacking in remaining romances and remaining queer books. And given that it's Pride, and most of what I've been reading this year, and the only books that have received 5 stars from me have been queer books, I'm like, we gotta rectify this situation. We need some queer books, and it's just summer. I needed romance. I needed romance in my life. And that was the goal when I went in. Now, did I buy one book that I've already read just to have a physical copy? Yes. So I really only added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new books to my physical TBR. To be fair, also, some of them were books that I had written down that I knew I was going to read because they're sequels to series that I, have started and loved. And let's see, I don't know if the excuses are really helping. I will also say if you hear someone mowing, that's because they are mowing, and I frankly just wanted to film this today, and if I don't film this today, I won't film it. So, but I'm also wearing a new shirt, so lovely, lovely. But let's go ahead and hop into all the books that I bought. So first up, one of my most anticipated reads of the year, The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop. We all know my love for Only for the Weak, which you'll see somewhere right there. I also did redo my shelves, so we have a Pride shelf up here now and a Summer Romance shelf back here behind me, if you can see that. Only for the Weak was my favorite read of, well, is it my favorite read of last year? Probably my favorite read of last year. It's a 5-star romance. It screams summer romance. And The Art of Loving You is the sequel to that. It's an interconnected standalone series, and it's following Danny, and Micah. It is Second Chance, which we know is not my favorite, but as I have read, it's a summer road trip. It's a summer. Ooh, let's just say, micro tropes that get people? Road trip? I know some people don't love road trips, but I love road trips. And when I read that, I'm like, I am prepared. I am set. And Natasha knows how to make them spicy and steamy and also filled with all sorts of emotion. I'm just ready to go. And plus, Micah, I think, is our super tall artist, and she's a model. What more could I ask for? Now, everyone's going to look at me and be like, didn't you own that on Kindle? Haven't you already started reading it? Yes. But I have determined that Oathbound, the third book in the Legendborn Cycle series, Legendborn is probably my favorite. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite book of all time. It's the one I tell everyone when they say, what's your favorite book or what would you recommend? It's Legendborn. However, I got Oathbound on Kindle last year. I bought it on Kindle because I didn't want to buy a hardcover of it. However, I think I've just determined, well, granted, a lot of things went down when I got Oathbound. So emotionally, I wasn't in a great state to get it. But I think I was determined that this is the kind of book that, since I read the other two physically, that I think my brain just would process it better physically and be more intrigued. Plus, I was going to buy the physical copy either way. So we have Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. Then, I don't know what it is about me. I don't generally gravitate towards super sad reads. I don't know if this is supposed to be super sad, but it's supposed to be super emotional. And that is Please Don't Go by E. Salvador. Everyone and their mom have been talking about this book since end of last year. First of all, look at that cover. It's beautiful. But I know we're following a girl who basically is about to jump and commit, about to unalive herself, basically. And the baseball player who saves her / convinces her not to do it and does everything in his power to convince her that she has a life worth living and the romance that ensues from there. I just feel like I'm going to crumble reading this. Books usually don't make me cry. Every other medium of entertainment can make me cry super easily at the drop of a hat. I cry all the time. But there's just something about words on text that has yet to be able to really solidify it for me. The last book I think I got teary-eyed in was reading Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. So that was a few months ago. And even then it wasn't a full-on sob. So maybe I bought this just to see if it could make me feel something. I don't know. Then, okay, I think those are the last of the books that aren't queer books or queer coded, although there are queer characters in Oathbound. It's just not. Although if she goes a little polyamorous, won't be mad, Tracy. But all the other books after this are all queer books. So, first up we have My Roommate from Hell by Cale Dietrich. I saw this book earlier this year at Barnes & Noble and I didn't pick it up, but it just kind of stuck with me because I'm like, I've seen this premise pop up before. We're following Owen and Zarminus, Prince Zarminus, and essentially what happens is the Prince of Hell, the son of the devil himself, is rooming with Owen in college, their freshman year of college, and even though this tagline isn't there, I'm just going to say, the Prince of Hell is raising hell on campus and may or may not be about to fall in love with his very human roommate. And it just sounds like a fun little idea. I don't know how it'll work out if I like it, but it's up there with things I'm curious about. Then we have All Hell Chaos by Sarah Reese Britton. This is the sequel to, what is it called? No, it's on my shelves. I have a queer fantasy shelf. It is called Long Live Evil. Long Live Evil. Which, reading the first book, there were queer characters and subplots that we were following in it. So, like, it was more of a subtly queer read. But the author is pitching this as, like, bisexual chaos, which is kind of fair, because there are basically 3 different couples we are following in the story. Our main couple is I don't know if either of them is in the bisexual sphere, but it is a straight passing relationship with Ray and her evil little knight. And then we have a sapphic side couple and then a gay side couple, although I don't know if that's spoilers. However, bisexual chaos. Essentially, the premise of the first book is that Ray gets sucked into her favorite fantasy series, and in order to save herself in the real world, she has to obtain this flower of life, and it only blooms one night in the book. The only problem is in the series, she is turned into the evil stepsister in the series, and she has to basically save herself as the evil stepsister and convince them that she's not worth killing, while also biding her time until she's able to steal this flower. And of course, romance and chaos ensues from there, and we're getting into the next one, All Hell Chaos. I always said, if you like Look What You Made Me Do by Taylor Swift, that is so what the book is. But it also, I will say, there are a few moments that will make people cringe. So, I'm curious to see where we go from here. But given how the last book ended, I just want to see how that works out for all 3 of our characters, or all 3 of our couples, because they're all kind of in a midst of chaos, as the book implies. Now, Like We Were in Paris by Stephen Lee. So this is obviously a queer little book here. It did give me like Heartstopper Volume 3 vibes, and given that Heartstopper finale is coming out this year, I felt like this was apt for me to pick up. But it didn't quite click in my head that this is probably Taylor Swift inspired, given Like We Were in Paris, the song Paris. Because there was another queer Taylor Swift inspired book that I was thinking about getting, but I decided not to try and preserve my bank account. But now I'm like, well, maybe I should have gotten them both. But hey, Like We Were in Paris, we are following Ben and Tyler. So essentially the premise of the book is that they are on a school trip to Paris, but one night Ben accidentally gets locked out of their hostel that they're staying at with the rest of their class, and he has no way in, so he kind of just has to bide his time outside. The only problem is that the other person he gets locked outside with is Tyler, who is the school, like, heartthrob, it boy, always got on Ben's nerves, and of course romance ensues from there, from their one magical night in Paris. And yeah, I'm also like, is that not, the artwork is like, that's kind of Nick, he looks Nick Nelson coded. He looks, if you can't see that, he looks Nick Nelson coded. So, and some more gay, a little bit country. So I've been looking at this book for over a year now, and I just thought, YA cowboy romance between 2. I read The Spells We Cast by Jason June, and our main character there is from Texas, and he was really a cutesy southern Texas gay little boy, and I was like, I kind of am endeared and cute to that. And this one is following Emmett and Luke, and there's my hair, lovely. Emmett wants to be country music's biggest gay superstar, and Luke hates country music. Oh. But they're forced to work together. And yeah, you know, it's giving a combination of some of my favorite YA queer reads, So if y'all want me to do like a YA, like country queer reads or something like that, if you want me to do queer reads featuring Southern characters, because queer people exist in the South, no matter what they try to tell us. But yeah, I'm excited to pick it up. Then we have a bisexual book. So here's the thing, I was pretty sure this followed. Okay, so if you've been on my channel for a hot second now, you'll know that one of my favorite books of all time is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow, and A British Girl's Guide to Hurricanes and Heartbreak is the sequel. However, it's interconnected standalone, so I don't think you need to read that book to read this one, but I'm pretty sure Flora is bisexual from what we've learned there. But it looks like we're gonna do an Uno reverse. Instead of our Cuban girl going to London, we're having our London girl go to Miami and apparently get herself trapped in a love triangle. Hee. Or if the cover tells us anything. So, and the love triangle is with who now? Baz Martin? Marin. Baz and Gordon. I'm curious to see how that works out. But you know how much I love The Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea Tomorrow, so I'm going to eat this one up. I don't know when I'm going to eat it up, but I'm going to eat it up. Then lastly, the book that I've already read, The Stonewall Reader, by various authors. Obviously, it's Pride, so I wanted a copy of this. It is a Penguin Classics edition copy, and fun fact, I hate the Penguin Classic editions because they all look bland and boring, and they look like they should belong in a classroom. Not saying people shouldn't be studying this in classrooms, because The Stonewall Reader is an important piece of queer history and literature. It is a collection of stories, interviews, first-hand accounts, and so on and so forth from all the people who were alive during the 40s, 50s, 60s, in the lead-up and during and the aftermath of Stonewall and what that looks like. So it's important to read, understand that this is of the time, so the verbiage and sort of the thoughts and opinions of some of these characters is going to be outdated for what we now consider commonplace. But yeah, I got it because I like to have a strong collection of like physical queer media and particularly physical queer history and nonfiction. But I keep all of those in my office on campus. So before I put all these books away, I want to show you this because I'm going to bring this to my office on campus and you will not see this. I did want the pink cover because the pink cover looks nicer in my opinion, but hey! And those are all 9 books that I bought. Let me know which book I should be reading first, because we are going to do a reading queer books for a whole week for our next TBR takedown, and it is Pride Month, and I do that every year. So let me know which of these books or which of the queer books left on my TBR you're most excited to see me read in June, and I'll see y'all in the next one.